Chicken here, bring you another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, we got a fun one for you. We are going to be discussing the best hero and troop loadouts to use on the Mega Crabs. We're going to be diving on into Dr. Terrence with a few of these different troop loadouts. So we're going to first start off with collecting our boats. Then, 26, okay, we'll go 3 minute gold. So we're going to start out with what's best right out of the gates on Mega Crab, what you want to be using, how to get ahead of everybody else and get a great head start. So obviously this is going to depend a little bit on your statues as well. Now Zmod just made a great video on how to select your statues for Mega Crab. We'll be touching on this later, but for right now you should definitely go ahead and check that out. So yeah, the first loadouts for stages 1 through 25, as we just saw, is going to be Scorcher and Tank. Now, for the first 15 or so stages, if you're going all offense, full boost, then the best hero for this is going to be Brick, just because you get that extra speed, you get that extra damage. You could even use Warriors, but I mean, we're talking about stages that are arguably able to be taken down with Gunboat energy, so not a huge amount of strat. I mean, just boost something and use Brick, and it's going to go down quickly. But for the stages that need a little bit more of, oh, it's not Dr. Terrence Day, it's Hammer Day. For the stages that need a little bit more firepower than say, like the first 10, Scorcher Tank is going to be kind of the best way to go here, guys. So, I find Bullet, if you're going to use armored units, it's a throw-up between either Bullet or Captain Everspark, and this depends a little bit on the layout. If it's full of grapplers, go ahead and use Bullet, because then you're still going to get the value of his taunt ability, whereas Everspark, if there's a lot of grapplers, then she's probably just going to die, and it's not going to be of much use to you. But here's basically the idea, is you want to keep the Scorchers alive using Bullet's taunt ability for as long as you can. You want to use your extra Gunboat energy, which hopefully you have a lot of for the Mega Crab, guys, to go to work on these Boom Cannons and Doom Cannons and other things that are also going to be cause some problems in the back. So we've already lost Bullet here, so not a great start. But we can go ahead like this and shock these Doom Cannons and just kind of work our way up and around the base. It's not usually about speed, it's just about keeping the Scorchers alive and helping them out as much as you can with your extra Gunboat energy. Your shocks, you're going to want to shock, of course, the Boom Cannons, the Doom Cannons, all your single target stuff you're going to want to keep down for as long as possible. And you're going to get the most value out of Bullet for the most part, because you see our landing there, we didn't really have to worry about anything, and the landing area with Scorchers and Tanks is probably going to be the most crucial to decide whether or not you're actually going to be able to take that base down or not. Because if you lose a couple Scorchers right off the bat, then you don't really have much of a chance to go ahead and take the rest of the base down. So we're going to throw some critters in the back here. We've basically already won this raid at this point, guys. And yeah, so kind of a toss-up between Bullet and Everspark. Going to lead more towards Bullet, especially if there's a lot of Boom Cannons, if there's a lot of grapplers, and if there's a lot of rocket launchers protecting these things. If it's more of a weird base and there's just a ton of like cannons, sniper towers, and like even boom cannons and things like that, and there's not as much like you can get to a nice area where the HQ isn't covered by these single target defenses or the splash damage defenses behind them, then you can get a lot of value out of Everspark as well, of course. Because her critters are going to be huge in protecting Scorchers and Tanks, which is what it's all about, guys. It's all about protecting the Scorchers and Tanks. So there's a bit of a layout for stages 1 through 25. It's going to fall under some of those aspects. So let's talk about the medium level stages, where things are starting to get a little heated up here. So Mega Crab stages 25 to 40 is what we have this loadout for. And you see the chicken has 3 heavies and 5 Zookas. Now, this is going to completely depend on the base, the amount of shield health, the amount of rocket launchers and things like that. So you can actually, you might look at the chicken a little crazy, but this actually worked really, really well on some of these medium stages last time, guys. We used Heavy and Zooka, and we used Dr. Kavan because we were at the point. This is going to be a good this will be a good example here, because we were at the point where the health on the shields was beyond what the Scorchers and Tanks could deal with, and you'll find that this actually sneaks up on you pretty quickly if you're not paying attention. Usually around stages 23 to 26, that shield health is really going to kick up, because if it's above a 3 million health shield, the tanks really aren't going to have enough damage, especially if they're unprotected and there's rock launchers and things that are starting to pick them off. They're going to need a long time to eat through 3 million health worth of damage. So here's basically where we bring out the Heavy Zuka, and we want to call this one kind of like the protected Heavy Zuka, because it's not so much about like we need so much damage. It's more about we just need that pocket of Zukas to be protected. So we're going to try to keep all these guys here under one smoke. And you see we actually brought Kavan just to help us a little bit healing with the mines and things like that. And we'll get the Ice Shield going off here. And it's just going to allow us more than enough time that we need to just stay behind the base, keep the Zukas alive. It's a little bit easier. It's a little bit of a safer route than using Brick. Of course, if you can do a perfect Heavy Zuka attack, go ahead and use Brick, and you're going to get that extra damage, that extra speed. But for these kind of medium difficulty stages, this I found tends to be a little bit of a less of a gamble of a strategy, I guess is what we're saying. So you can use Kavan for that. Obviously, you can use Kavan for Scorchers and tanks as well. I wouldn't really recommend using Kavan just for his heal rate alone with the tanks, because it's honestly it's not that noticeable. If it's just Kavan you have trying to out heal like 6 rock launchers, like good luck with that. Get back to the chicken and let the chicken know how that goes, guys. It's not going to go well. He's not strong enough. His heal isn't powerful enough to keep tanks out of the range of rock launchers. And like it's different if you have like 3 boats of medics versus Kavan. It's not even really a discussion. Like if you for whatever reason, if you need to use Team Med, that's going to be the better option than using Kavan to try to protect your Scorches and tanks. So now let's get into stages 40 plus. This is where it gets interesting, guys. So of course, all Zuka is not going to be the only strategy. This is where it like really depends on the base. But you're gonna need a lot of damage. You're gonna need a lot of damage. You're gonna need to do it really quickly, and that is of course where Brick always shines, guys, is with the all Zukas. So this is what you want to use when you're getting up to those bases with the like we're starting to see like 7, 8, 9, even 10 million health shields, things like that. That's where you really need to use the all Zukas. And it's not necessarily like an operation where you know you have multiple attacks, so you want to just do as much shield damage as you can, get in and then get out, and then repeat with the next attack. You're trying to make it, you're trying to use the least amount of attacks that's physically possible, right? That's the idea for the Mega Crab. So, a good way to do this, we're going to be long enough there? Okay. A good way to do this is to get up onto the core with Brick still. And sometimes you'll have to bring heavies. Okay, we did that wrong, but okay, so we'll shock that laser. And a good way to do this is just to let the Zukas go and just kind of clear everything in a little bit of a pocket. So you see right there, if we didn't have enough damage to take down the HQ, at least we would have created a bit more of a pocket there, and we needed all that damage and all that speed that Brick is going to allow us to use with the Zukas. So flaring them up right before the HQ, allowing them to clear out that pocket, that's going to be super helpful. Obviously, you can use Everspark and Universal Remote to take out specific defenses. Things like that are also going to be of pretty good value. So we're going to do a two-parter here, and we're going to load up 2 6 Heavy Zuka, and we're going to talk about how we can use Everspark here. And this is just another strategy you can use for basically just like. This is where it just depends on the base. I mean, there's not like a general statement you can make where it's like, okay, use Everspark on stages 37 to 42. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So, another good way to use Spark and the critters and Heavy Zuka. This is where spread out Heavy Zuka is gonna be good, because you want those extra critters to keep the heavies alive. Now, we put out Spark way too late here, so that's going to cost us a little bit, but that should be okay. So yeah, we basically want to go like this. Now, I brought the Universal Remote, and we're probably not going to use it on this attack very well, but basically the idea is if you need to take out any specific defenses, you have the ability to do that with the remote. We're also going to be getting a pretty good amount of critters with Everspark coming in here, guys. So that's basically the idea, is you just want to kind of... You need the damage. It's basically the same as a Scorcher tank attack, But we need that extra damage, so we had to bring in Heavy and Zuka, and it's just kind of like a mass land clear attack. Like this would typically not be how you finish a base, but if you're stuck out of all other options, then basically the idea is just to get as much work done as possible. It's going to be something like this is going to be popular on those bases that we typically see where it's like that that kind of wraparound base, and you start with Heavy Zuka right off the landing, and then you kind of carve your way up, and then maybe smoke your Zukas around that wall side to the back. And that's kind of the idea there. Is that's where Everspark can really shine, because typically we'll get like a boom cannon loaded beach, and then you want to be able to keep your heavies alive with the critters, and then have the rocket launchers pouring in on the heavies. So that is basically the chicken's little kind of mini guide on the best hero and troop strategies for the Megacraft, guys. If you have any more strategies to tag onto this, let me know that down below in the comments, guys. That is going to wrap it up for the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative, and we'll see you next one, guys. Chicken out.